What's going on there, everyone? Got a very tall yard here today and going to give you some tips on how to cut this grass when you have a very tall, overgrown yard, how to cut it and have it look good. So the first tip I have for you is to go ahead and lift up the chute as high as it will go. And then you'll notice here as I'm getting started, I'm blowing the grass outward away from the area I'm going to cut. Now this is different than what you would do if you were normally cutting a yard that isn't real tall, because you're not going to have any lines. It's blowing, but you don't want all that grass. You don't want to have to cut it twice. And so as you're doing this, there's no way it's going to look good. This grass has to be 4 or 5 feet tall. And so there's no way you're going to have this grass look good just by doing the first cut. So you see here I'm going and just going around almost in a big circle, throwing that grass out the entire way. So one of the parts that's kind of annoying and just part of getting a really tall yard like this cut down is it's going to blow the grass right back at you. So try to have yourself covered up if you can, unless you just like the way that the grass tastes and you like coughing it up out of your nostrils for the next 3 or 4 days. So I just keep going back and forth, back and forth. You see here I'm throwing the grass out, and it takes a little bit of time. You notice this yard does not look that good yet. But just remember, it's going to take a couple different passes here in order to make this work. I don't know any way to make a tall yard like this look good on the first pass. If you do, leave me a comment. So now I have it cut, and now what I'm doing is I'm coming back, and now I'm going to go on an angle across this yard. So I kind of went perpendicular on the first pass, that very first pass, and now I'm just going to come back. And now I'm going to start cutting it a little bit more like you normally would. Try to have some lines a little bit in here. I'm still blowing it outward the first few times, but then I'm going to start crisscrossing like you normally would. And now I'm cutting it on an angle across the grain that I just cut. Alright, now that I got that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross my other diagonal. So I'm cutting it on an angle again, but this way I'm going the opposite direction. So this will now be the third cut on this section. And with a really tall yard like this, it really does take at least 3 times in order to have it start looking halfway decent. So now I've gone perpendicular, angle one way, and now I'm coming back, so I'm making like a crosshatch pattern. Back across this, doing an angle back the other way. I know you guys like to watch this stuff, so let's take a look.
I know we could have been better. You look so pretty in lies. Big egos live in this castle. Not sure I'm ever surprised. You got me fooling round and now you're honesty. Don't think you got the concept right. Double moral bitterness is not my type, but it's hell it gotta work on you. You got
there you go. That's how you cut a really tall yard and have it look good. See ya.